Okay. Calling our public hearing for the 2026 budget at 7:01. Do we have any comments or questions from the public? Okay. We have no public here except for one person who's not commenting, so we will move on to closing our public hearing on the 2026 budget and opening our public hearing on the water rate change at 7:02. Any comments about our water rate change from anybody in the gallery? Okay. We will close our public hearing for the water rates at 7:02 and a half. And open our regular Harrington City Council meeting, 7:03. All right. Roll call. We have David, Stephen, Gavin, and Creighton in attendance. Thank you. Recognized visitors, we have Jen Wilcox in the gallery. And if we can, stand up and pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good job. I'm glad you continue it on. I'm glad there's not that hiccup anymore. We save a half a second.
You do. I'm so
Tick-tock.
Any public comments before we get started? Okay.
Should we have a moment of silence for our missing Sprague contingents?
No. Love them, but
They have their
they're
own-
on to better
Yeah.
and bigger things for themselves.
They have their own problems.
Just January, right?
January
They get-
1st
yeah,
is, yeah, they can't take office before
Right,
then, so. Any items to remove from our consent agenda?
None for me.
Okay, thank you, David.
Well, actually, I should review. I didn't see the latest change to claims. Give me just a quick second. The one that was sent out this afternoon, I didn't
Okay.
see that. So just give me a quick sec.
Here's if anybody wants it in paper.
No, I'm good. Nothing to remove.
Did you get it? Okay. All right. Solicit additions to the agenda.
I have a couple. One I want to talk about the library's relation to utility bills. And two, I don't know if any of you guys saw my email from today regarding water testing.
I just got it.
And then I'm assuming we're going to, in Mayor's comments, we're going to have an update on the what we talked about with the investment stuff. If there's an update on how we've been interacting with the gentleman that David brought last time.
Okay.
That would be one thing. MKB update. Well number 1 update. And I had talked with a person in this room about some of the things we could do with patching roads and stuff. And so since that person is here now, maybe we could talk about road conditions and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
maybe it's too late to address some of this now, but we can at least start to get a handle on where we're going in the future.
Yes, absolutely.
I think that's it.
Okay. From you,
None from me.
Creighton? David, anything to add to the agenda?
No, Stephen nailed it on the road thing, so he addressed that, so it was perfect.
Okay. So next on our agenda is swearing in our new council members, although they can't take the seat until January 1st. We are able to exercise the oath of office, which we have here. Jim, you don't mind reciting that before signing your commitment?
Yeah. Making it legal.
Where are we committing to?
Please enunciate.
I, Jim Wilcox, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution and laws of the state of Washington, and that I will faithfully, impartially perform and discharge the duties of the office of City of Harrington Councilman Number 4, according to law, to the best of my ability.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Do I need to read this too? I, Creighton Ostrich, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution and laws of the state of Washington, and that I will faithfully and impartially perform and discharge the duties of the office of City Harrington Council Position 1 according to the law, to the best of my ability.
Thank you.
Okay, we got the keg of Gatorade.
And as for the third position, that I know there's delicacies to this that may or may not be appropriate for discussion, but do we know what next steps are expected to be with David's position?
Yes.
Is that going to have, but maybe we don't need to get into the specifics, but does all of that have to happen in January, I guess is what I'm saying.
No, we can start on it right now.
Okay.
So that's, it's not on the agenda, but I was gonna do the mayor's comments. I just need a consensus on
Okay. Good
some
enough.
timeline, so, okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you guys.
Congratulations, you two.
Welcome.
Okay, we have an ordinance out there for adopting our new water rates. We've had multiple public hearings on this, and I believe we have come to a consensus. Has everyone had a chance to read ordinance number 517?
Move to adopt.
Second.
I'll second it.
Creighton beat you. Sorry, David.
No worries.
Okay, any further discussion on the ordinance?
Just a question
I
of,
believe, I think, Mr. Mayor, I think on the bottom of there, it was referred to, I think it was concerning this, it said 2025, it shouldn't have said 2026 on the last paragraph. I'm trying to pull it up. You read?
Oh, true.
oh, you're talking about January 1, 2025.
January 1,
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you for catching that,
Good
David.
catch, David.
No worries.
I will, it's corrected.
Okay. Just an inquiry out of curiosity from the mayor and the clerk. Have we had any inquiries? Has anyone?
One person did call and ask for some clarification. Was very happy with the change, totally fine, just needed the clarification.
Okay.
And then one other person wrote in when they sent their bill into the Dropbox that it was, the mayor's message on the back of the bill was a little bit confusing. So
Okay.
that was forwarded to the deputy clerk to
Overshare.
address that with them. So that was the only two that I'm aware of.
Okay. Good enough. Thank you.
Yeah, on the back of the bill, I chose to emphasize that there is tax on top of the base rate, because too often
Yeah,
you buy things and then it's like, whoa. So,
yeah, it's fair.
so,
I thought I was getting out of Home Depot today for under $100 and no tax.
case in point. Okay. Any other further discussion? Okay. All in favor of adopting ordinance 517 to establish new water rates, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
And no nays, so thank you, gentlemen. We'll put that in place. Moving right along, we have our 2026 budget ordinance, number 518. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to go over it. We've talked about it. If you want me to embellish on what's in there and what's not.
I'll move to put it into discussion. Move to adopt.
Second.
Okay. Okay. Do you want me to just tell you what we did, or do you guys want to answer specific questions?
Be happy to hear your overview first.
Okay, our overview is we pretty much took what we had done in 2020, this year, 2025, that could be considered normal and customary. So things like major purchases, paying for vehicle taxes for those purchases, we didn't carry those over, which is relevant. It is a lean budget. So none of the monies are in here that would be considered pass-through. This is all straight revenue in and dollars going out. So we worked very hard to kind of trim and reemphasize the projects that we can and can't do in this coming year. Just because, you know, the revenue, there's not, even on the best day, there's just not a lot of revenue in here. So we know we're gonna be spending money and mostly time on a wastewater treatment plant. But there's no money in this for any big major purchase or big major project. So the emphasis is kind of just maintain, continue to clean up where we can, keep things nice and simple. I will say there's a certain agreement, contract that we are expecting to go away that has been considered on both sides of this, that's not there, but the added cost to the city to do the same thing.
So we had talked about a specific way of handling that contract as far as not letting it touch the next budget. Is that going to be,
It's in the mayor's comments, but I'll address it right now if you'd like.
well, just because it affects
Yeah.
what numbers are in here?
So we are expecting a settlement offer from opposing counsel. We just haven't seen it yet. But verbally over the phone, our attorney, their attorney, they said that, yeah, we're gonna do this. But
And that'll get cleaned up before the end of the calendar year.
I am hoping, but we are at this point, we're just waiting for them to get that paperwork over to us and get it reviewed, and
So does this reflect numbers for that contract?
no, it does not.
Does it reflect numbers for the purchase of new equipment?
Yes.
At what amounts?
I'd have to check my notes. It's then, we're not buying brand new equipment, but I know that we can buy equipment that's reasonably priced. I've been searching it out, but
It was between 12 and 15, I can't remember exactly right now.
for
equipment.
for equipment, 12 to 15 for equipment,
That
which we basically.
feels lean to
It
me.
is.
Optimistically lean.
Optimistically lean. Hi.
Well, so it maybe I get this is different than I've had experience with, because historically there's been the budget committee, and then the budget committee met, so there was a council member that had had opportunity to kind of know some things going in. That wasn't requested, and I wasn't going to shoehorn in on this because this is your budget, and you can propose it any way you want. So I don't feel slighted to not know this ahead of time. But
Okay.
there are some things that where I sit right now, I'm a little bit still trying to get up to speed on, and this is the first other than when that email went out. So I guess the main things that I would like, and maybe if we need to, we could table this to later in the meeting to give Cassie an opportunity to pull this. But what I would like to know, Cassie, is for money in the bank this year, now versus end of last year, where are we at? And then where are we at removing the vac truck and the well number 1? And what I'm trying to get from that is usually we budget for a $30,000 surplus-ish. And it historically comes out at like 70 or something like that. It was a little leaner the year previous. This year I expect we're probably likely to be negative, but we got a lot for that money. I'm okay with it being negative. I just want to know if you took the main, well, even the Mini X, I guess, the Mini X, the Vector truck, and the well number 1, if you took those capital improvements out of it, would we be about where we normally were? And for me, if we are in our normal range minus those 3 items, then I have no problem kicking anything forward. If that comes back unexpectedly negative, then I might look to try and figure out where we could make more cuts than what this reflects. Is that something you could pull in relatively short order?
Okay.
I'm guessing the expenditures for the cemetery are both equipment and then manpower to run it. Our
Yes.
manpower to run it.
A proportionate share.
Right. I understand
Yes.
that. And so where's all the income from the cemetery? There's $76,000. Where does that come from?
We are going to be approaching the council to have $66,000 taken out of the LGIP interest
Okay.
for the interest that the endowment has earned.
And that won't be until after the first of the year, next year. Okay.
And historically, we've also budgeted for, what, 10 grand or something in donations and
Yeah,
miscellaneous, the plot sales and that
yeah.
kind of stuff. I don't know, 10 might be off, but there's another portion of that pie that comes from our,
Yeah, we had, yes, we were basically hoping to mirror what we got this past year.
Okay. Then on the street fund, I assume the expenditures are maintenance of the street equipment and wages, a proportion of the wages that supposedly they're doing on the streets.
And electricity,
Oh, okay. Didn't even think of that.
streetlights.
Yeah. Good thing we have LEDs up now.
Yeah,
I'll put up the LED lights and Dusty can take care of the chimneys.
Okay. Okay. And revenues from because this is the first time I've gone through it. Revenues under criminal justice,
Tax,
just taxes.
marijuana, right?
Okay.
yeah, that we get both just funding from the state,
Okay.
but we also, and it's not just Harrington, obviously all the
Right,
other
everybody, yeah.
municipalities, but the different fees and fines and all the rest of the stuff that the courts charge, that's how it gets distributed.
Okay. And I assume the 35 grand on the other side is our contract with the sheriff's department.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think it's worth noting because this will set up one of the additions to the agenda that I had. The library revenues, that should all be representing transfer funds because the library does not actually have any revenue of its own.
Yes.
So in a more accurate way, you could just say revenue is 0, expenditures 23. No, you're moving funds around so they balance out their budget. But yeah,
I believe those funds are part of the 35, the current expense fund expenditures, so the top right line.
mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that number is built into those numbers. Comes out of the general fund as an expenditure into the library.
And this water revenue is projecting with the rate changes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Does this take out the RICO contract?
It does not. So,
That won't be huge, but a couple thousand.
right. Yeah, until I have a very clear action plan on that, I'm optimistic, but until it's, I didn't even like putting the other contract we were talking about earlier, taking that out of this whole thing.
Yeah,
Because
it's
it's
fine.
not-
Yeah.
In my hand yet, but
So, for those that are not looking at this right now, the total revenues projected are $1,515,190.97. Total expenditures are $1,460,033.97. So, roughly, we are projecting a $55,000 surplus. Which again is our tradition to budget a surplus, and we usually exceed it. But capital projects this year, and I'll say, I don't know what Cassie's number will come back with. It will be unconventional for people of this town to hear that we spent more money than we took in. I don't know that that's happened long time, but I'm very proud of our Vector truck and how it's been used in our Mini X, and putting a well back into service for 77 grand and avoiding $1 million loan. I have no problem going under for 1 year. If we even did that, there's maybe a chance we came pretty close to even. I don't know, but no.
no.
Okay. Well, I figured if some other things were positive,
There
but
were a number of other things. I mean, it's and they're little things, but they do add up. I mean, the guys have been busy, and when they're busy, it takes material to do it. So
but everything they're doing, we're not paying somebody else to do.
true. I mean,
Which
we
for the
have-
last 3 or 4 years have been.
we probably have throughout the city over 1,000 feet of new sewer lines
Mhm.
here, there, and all over the place. You know, on this street and that street, and that's significant. So, you know, and the cost of materials, you know, it's 3,000 here for this project, and it's 3,000 there, but we're not spending $70,000 to have a contractor fix the way out of our problem, and it probably doesn't get corrected. I mean, if I'm guilty of anything, it was like, okay, if we're gonna do it, let's do it all the way and let's do it correctly. And we supplied them the resources to do it, so. I know two sewer lines that we better not hear from ever again, so.
Oh, another thing I'm hoping we're talking about in mayor's comments. I heard about sewer things up by the golf course. We didn't talk about that.
We can. but,
Okay.
um,
Well, I don't know what went on there, so.
Sure.
Cassie, would it help if we tabled this to give you more time? I know I threw an 8-ball at you. It would help?
Thank you.
Okay.
So you want the ending balance last year?
Ending balance that last year, the
Balance.
balance in the bank now,
Now.
and then with Mini X,
Yes.
the
Back truck.
vac truck and
Well.
well number 1 removed.
Do you want the title expenses for those purchases as well or no?
Title
Like the title transfer purchases?
Oh yeah, everything that went along. And am I missing any
Any
other
maintenance
decisions we
items
made for a
those?
big capital?
Any maintenance items for those purchases?
Let's not,
Yeah,
I don't
no.
want to take a, I just want to get a general
Initial,
picture, you know, $5,000 here or
I
there
don't
is
think
not.
that we did.
Yeah, I just
We-
need a few more.
Did we
minutes.
do anything?
We spent 14 fixing the backhoe because the whole front end had to be replaced.
But that's
More.
just kind of a year to year.
Yeah, that
it's gonna
wasn't
happen.
something we decided to spring for.
No, true.
Okay, I moved to table.
Okay.
We'll pick it back up before the end of the
Do
meeting.
we need a second for that, Stephen?
Yeah, I think so.
Do we have to vote on the tabling? Second.
Okay, we have a first and a second to table the budget for the time, for this moment.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll table this for the time being. Moving on, we will get to the additions to the agenda. Library electric bills.
Yeah. I'll try and keep this brief. I don't know that we need to come to any decision here, but it's just something, especially since we're talking about budgets, that I want to seed in the council's mind. So when we kind of hit the reset button on the library, the opinion was expressed, and I probably was the most vocal about it, but I don't know that there was a lot of pushback, that I was willing to give the library more generous funds for a while to help them focus on getting the library back up and running. But I said, in my mind, that doesn't last forever. I want you guys to be doing some fundraisers or have some engagement with the community for donations, friends of the library or whatever else, that I want you guys to look to be more self-sufficient. And I think we're probably coming, in my opinion, closer to that time. But there was a question because they're getting to the end of the year and finding that their budget is tighter than they projected. From what I understand, they'll still be fine. But they had an open question: are they supposed to pay the utility bills for that building out of their own budget, or are they or is the city paying that? And I said, I'm not entirely sure, because I think that directionally I'd like to see them, like, if they choose to be open more hours, they're going to put in more heat. They should be responsible for the expenses of what they're doing. Have we made the decision that that's in their budget? I don't know that we have. So I was like, I don't know how to answer that question. And so
in the city budget, things like those utilities are in fact allocated where they belong,
to them,
to our library budget line item.
right?
We're paying it, but it's under our line item of library.
Right. But what we have done and what we have still been doing is giving that allocation of money for they're managing their wages, they're managing their
Right,
materials
right.
and all the rest of it. And we left it at that because at the time we were doing this, and we can change it like you said, but at the time, they have little to no control over things like the power and the heat in there. Well, they have more control than it, but it still needs to be done. How they have us charge for insurance, which that building definitely impacts, but that's actually not a line item on theirs. That's 100% of all the insurance costs comes out of our general fund.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, we haven't broken down. I mean, their annual cost for electricity was $4,100.
Mm-hmm.
So
And isn't there natural gas? Well, how is
actually, I
that
take it
heated?
back. You know what? That's in the budget. So that 23,000 reflects the electricity.
Right. And there's also natural gas there, isn't there not?
Yeah. Well, gas, electric.
Okay,
gas,
okay,
sorry.
okay, okay.
It's
Of his-
utilities.
Yeah, Avista.
So that is reflected in the budget.
In their line item.
In that line item that
Yes,
you're voting on
yes,
tonight.
okay,
There
all right.
includes the utilities
Okay.
and salaries
And we see that as their responsibility when it goes up in unexpected ways.
Yeah, they presented their budget to me, and Cassie integrated into this, but I can't remember exactly what they were expecting to control. So,
Well, they were looking to us for information on that, and I wasn't 100% clear. So.
okay.
Okay, I think that covers it, but the thing to leave everyone with is, in the future, what direction do we want the library to go from a funding perspective?
Yes.
I'd like to see it operate as, to the extent possible, as an independent entity. And that's respecting their control over it, and it's also the fiscal responsibility to a certain extent. Like, I don't know that they should have to own the line item for the insurance, because until we have the option of selling the building, they could completely shut down and we'd still have to insure it, right? Until it is a function of their inherent operation, I don't think it makes sense for them to own it.
I
But,
really agree with that.
yeah. Okay.
Okay. Let's just address the LGIP. I haven't had a lot of time, so I've done some looking, but that's pretty much sitting right where it left as far as connection with him, where it left last week, or
So-
last month.
We haven't had any additional, like, he hasn't asked any more information of us, or...
And we haven't asked any more information to him.
Okay.
I found a couple hours to go basically searching for other people locally that do what he does, and
Yeah, I didn't...
We, just to let you know, we had a presentation last council meeting on investing the cemetery endowment. And at this point, we're giving, I can't remember his name now.
Steve,
Anyway, giving him kind of a free rein because it isn't going to cost us anything for the time being. And he's actually was quite impressive, I thought.
yeah, I thought so too.
So I think maybe we can get a little better return on that money.
So he's putting together a proposal of what,
He hasn't yet, but he will.
yeah, he's been tasked with coming up with a plan.
And one of our problems is we're returning to the state that things were in, that when I started with all this, the endowment was making no money because interest rates were basically zero. And then we got lucky in that we moved everything into the LGIP, and because the base rate went up to a decent rate, we were actually making some decent money for once. Well, now rates are probably going to tank again. At least that's the pressure on the Federal Reserve. And if that actually happens, then we're going to have to figure out something, because we can't afford to have that much money that's been donated and allocated to the cemetery doing us absolutely no good. And I don't know that we're in a position to really influence that ourselves. So we're gonna need some help.
And his management fee was really small, like less
Under
than
2%.
Yeah.
I think he said at the max.
maybe even close to 1.
Yeah. It was all very reasonable, I thought.
Okay. I want to hit your water testing last.
Yeah, no,
because
that's
I feel
fine.
that's a bigger
I do
cost.
think that we should, I know it's the holidays, but I do think we should give him a call and just sync with him and say, what's the next steps here? Even, I don't know that we need to push an acceleration over the next month, but I think let's make sure and keep engagement with
Yeah.
him. And make sure that if he needs anything of us to be doing things in the background, that we're sending him all the relevant
Yep.
stuff.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything, so I'll give him a call tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Road conditions.
Just generally with, I don't know, Jim, if you wanted to share some of the things that you had mentioned to me, but just tweaking our approach to maybe how we're getting cold patch, or how we're addressing some of the voids that we have in the road, and especially now this time of year as freeze thaw is going to continue to work on those things. Again, this might be more about just a preview of setting a different direction with this, but did you have anything that you wanted to share with that conversation we had
Well,
post
just-
office?
working with pavement and stuff for the last 30 years, I see a lot of things that, we're doing not wrong, but we aren't doing. I mean, water is your enemy. And when you dig a utility area or something, I mean, you can go out now, the one by Tony Hamilton's is a really good example, where it's been left open probably 5-6 years. And it's alligator, which is a term that we use for asphalt is cracked in little squares.
Okay.
And you can see where the water has gotten underneath of it, and it's just working its way. So whether you use cold patch, whether you prepare different areas and then go get some hot mix and do several at once, but you need to seal those.
Okay.
And another concern, the Municipal Uniform Traffic Code says that when you put loose material on top of asphalt, you will sign it for motorcycles, use extreme caution. And that opens up a whole can of worms as far as liability and that type of thing too. So it's something that we need to look at. I mean, that you don't want to go buy cold patch by the sack at Home Depot, it'll break you. But all these asphalt companies have bulk that you can go get a load of it. You want to keep it inside or out of the sun to where it doesn't break down.
Okay.
But they can, make these utility cuts, give yourself, 3 to 4 inches, give yourself a good edge, and you pound that stuff in, it'll seal it up too. It's not gonna last as long, but a lot of our streets aren't gonna last that long anyway, so.
Yeah. I do know the guys, when they pull up sections of asphalt, they are not just tossing them, they are preserving them to be used later. So,
And
they do know how to reformulate them and get them back on board.
yeah. And then as far as these potholes in the main street out here, that's a phone call away.
They were actually out here, the state was out here yesterday, looking at the hole, because there's a number of them that are growing in the north end of town, so they already looked at the highway.
Well, I don't know what they're doing now, but that is a daily patrol item that if there's a hole there, you fix it. So
Okay.
maybe we need to put some pressure on the state to, why are these holes open in our streets? Because we have everything outside the fog line is the cities, everything inside the fog line is the states, and I think we need to put a little more pressure on them. I just don't think they've got the personnel that have the old school way of doing things quite,
Okay.
But I'd be glad to help, make contacts or get contacts as far as we get to supplies, a cold mix and that type of thing, if you're interested.
Always.
To that end, Joe, I don't know if you've been considering updating council assignments and committee assignments and stuff. I mean, I know like I take care of the tech stuff and Creighton studies do building, looking after buildings and that kind of stuff, but I would encourage maybe having Jim be empowered with a statement that he's kind of our street guy, because I'm never going to know anything to contradict him. He can represent me all day long. So
Well, yeah, I wasn't gonna bring it up tonight, but that was going to be January's agenda item, is to roll out committees. And then quite honestly, we probably need to do quarterly updates, reports, or whatever from anybody on the committee, just what is and isn't happening, because otherwise it's just a waste of time.
yeah.
So, yeah. I was
And
thinking about
hopefully that
getting a
takes
little
some
bit more
pressure off of you, because if Jim is willing and empowered a bit to make phone calls and stuff on his own, then that doesn't put you in the middle of as
Yeah.
much.
Exactly. Well, and my time this past year has been extremely limited during business hours, so.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's important to, everybody has experience and skills in different things. And, there's certain things you see that other people don't see. I think that's something that we could try to use all of our skills to where, we each see different things. That
Yep, absolutely.
our farmers, have done a lot with, weed control and that type of thing. And
Mhm.
there's a lot of skill here, but.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, my skills and things I'm good at are completely useless here.
I don't know, I've got a project for you, I just haven't brought it up yet.
You can chauffeur me around anytime.
Park your car.
Personal protection is what I hear.
I was a bouncer for 2 months until I got hit. No.
Okay, Anything else on, okay. Water testing.
Okay. I know that email contained a lot. I'll try and give you the crux of it. So, we got 2 new wells. They're both hung at different depths than they used to be. And there was kind of an open question in my mind of just how much testing do we actually do. I know how much we pay for, but it's not been as clear to me just what things we test for. And so now that we've kind of committed to these locations, because again, the alternative is we got $1 million loan for the thought of drilling a new well, and that could be, it would have the 100-foot safe zone and the whole thing. But now we've made our bets that it's this one and that one. So what do we have? And I know I've ran into a lot of people over the years who live here. Oh, I don't drink Harrington's water. Harrington has terrible water. Like, I don't think that's true. I got so sick and tired of hearing it in 2021. I bought a water test online and I tested it for myself just to see, and it came back really pretty good. There was only one thing with a particular compound that I referenced in that email. And so I started looking at, what tests have we done of either well and that kind of thing. And in general, I think it looks like they're more comprehensive than I thought. We only kind of do a more comprehensive test, it looks like once every year or every other year, and then there's 2 wells. So, but I went to the state website that has all of the testing available, and I took all the tests from both wells for the last 5 years and compiled them together and just did an analysis on what have we done and how does it look, and is there any value in doing the test again that I bought in 2021? Are they all overlapping and it would be pointless, or are there things that are in that test? Because it's on a significant discount right now. I think it's normally $290. You can get it for $230, I think. And it tests 110 different things. And it said that mostly there's overlap, but there's some things like arsenic. It doesn't look like we've ever tested for arsenic or it's not listed in the tests that are on the website. Similar to that, it says that we never tested for lead, but I think we did have a test for lead that must not have made it onto that list, but it's not a thing that we regularly test for. I know that lead is more concerning usually with the pipes and moving it through the city than at the well, but that can be a thing. Doesn't look like we regularly ever test for acidity and the pH level of it, which has a relation to how quickly does it eat pipe and leach any materials. And so there's, in that document, I'm not going to say the whole thing, but in that document it lists why there might be an argument to buy 2 of those tests. Not a lot of money. I mean, compared to what we pay Anatech,
Yeah.
I think $230 per test, buy 2 of them for less than $500. What do we get out of that? Well, we get a third-party validation from a lab we aren't normally going to see if all the values align. We are testing some things that we don't normally test for, like uranium, arsenic, lead, all the specifics on dissolved solids and how hard our water is and all that kind of stuff. It's something we can offer our people to say, look, we just had both wells tested and we have good water. Maybe the pipes going to your house are not great. Maybe the pipes in your house are not great. But the water of Harrington is really great. That's one point. Second point, though, to make mention is the one thing that did come back as concerning in the test I did in 2021 is there was a particular compound, and I believe it's abbreviated PCE, that came up at about, I think it was roughly 40% of the level to alarm. Now, interestingly, we have tested for that compound, like the test that the city runs, we've tested for that compound 3 times in the last 5 years, and it all came back as non-detect. So it's
Your pipes.
a bit of, well, it's, I ask in there, is this something that's likely to come through pipes? And it's not likely to be a pipe thing. It could maybe be something with the jointing compound, but usually it's a water system thing. And it did say that there was an interesting indication that there are higher nitrate levels in well number 1, which is the one down there that we're just putting back into service. And there was a indication of pyrochlorem, which is, I guess, is something that has to do with agricultural spray stuff. I think that makes sense in that that's the well that's by the stream, right? So you have agricultural water that's coming through, and it comes off the fields and going through right by that well within 30 feet. That's where the city shop is. That's where Harrington Truck and Auto is. That's where there's a proximity to where McGregor was. So even though there were 2 tests after the one I did personally in 2021 that showed it as non-detect, it would be interesting to see if it came back as non-detect again if we did it in a third party. But even if we don't do this, because I can kind of go either way, and I think for my money, I'd say, yeah, do for under $500, let's just get a validation and be able to say that we've done it and this is an extensive test and we take water quality seriously. But there is a lot of overlap, I'll be honest, and between my test personally and those tests, it's a pretty good picture that we have safe water. But I will say this, if nothing else, I think it is pointing to that we are seeing more leaching of surface level water going on by well number 1, which is not a mystery that we would expect that. And we should, I don't know if we can accelerate some of the tests for things like PCE, but we should probably test well number 1 more aggressively than we test well number 3, just because it's more vulnerable. And so if nothing else, that's one of the things I want us to take away from this, at least in my opinion, that I think it's good for us to test that well a little bit more aggressively.
Okay.
And we don't need a vote on this, because if you guys all do want to do that test, Cassie can just buy them and then they'll come up in the next claim sheet and we'll approve it in the next claim sheet. So it's not an action item for a vote, but what do you guys think? Is it smart or?
The one
You
thing,
can test water too much. I think it's a good idea, personally.
I guess if we find something that is
Yeah.
a detriment, what legal stance would we be on then?
I know, and I thought of that, but it's kind of like the alternative is if it's actually in there and it's dangerous and we don't know about it. I drink that water, and my son drinks that water, and my wife drinks that water. Like
Michigan.
I know, like I get. I don't know if we want to open up the can of worms, but do we want to keep the can of worms closed?
So, if I can interject what is happening. One, it's no secret, the US government is requiring us, and I know you didn't bring it up, but they're requiring every municipality to do a PFAS test on their timeline. So I know sometime in the next 2 years, we're gonna be basically handed a bunch of test materials from them and basically say, fill it up and send it back. So I don't know, it's just random, when it happens, it happens. So that's already in the works. Because of all the work we just did with well number 1, we currently have a water sample in for a thorough test, because we're gonna make
Define
sure.
thorough though. How thorough is thorough?
More than just, we won't have it back until next week, so, I mean, it's taking.
Where is it going? Is it going to
I'm
Anatech?
pretty sure it went to Anatech. So what I'm wondering on that is, can I have you talk to Devin and compare notes about this test that you're talking about? And I'm not poo-pooing this test. I'm all for testing the water too. I'm just saying, if it's already being
Yeah,
done and
that's
we're
fair.
already
Yeah.
paying for it,
I agree.
so, we can push that down another, month or 2. Because I want well number 1, for all the reasons you said, I want to watch that closely. So, we flushed it, ran it, flushed it some more. Of course, it was completely sanitized when it went down the hole. And like, I talked to him tonight and he's like, going, yeah, we're just waiting to have that test back before we know it's safe to actually bring into our system. So all the money, or not money, all the water they've been pumping out has just been going into the stream. So that's what's going on with that.
So I don't know how long this discount will last, but let's put it this way. So if Devon is open to there being value there, is the council good with me getting it? Because the thing is, we won't probably meet until all that opportunity is passed. And so I agree. If Devon's like, no, we're going to test for pretty much all these things anyways, then I agree. There's not, yes, there would still be arsenic and there would be a few things that doesn't look like, unless there's a collection of things that have just never made it onto that site. It looks like there's still some things here that we've never tested for, but not major things that are a problem. It looks like the body of evidence is that we have very good, clean, healthy water.
You know, I wouldn't have an issue of getting them while they're on a discount, as long as they have a shelf life,
I can look at that.
so. But if that's something that I can have you talk with Devin tomorrow directly.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
David, do you have any thought on that? I heard from Creighton and Gavin.
No, I think it's a good idea. Water quality's very important, and over my lifetime, Harrington's always been noted to have some of the best tasting water in the state, and
That's the
for
arson.
numerous reasons.
That's the
There is concern that I have from using it's picloram is how it's pronounced, and that's
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
that's the trade name, and that's Tordon is the trade name is Tordon.
Mm.
And that that's a restricted use pesticide. Of course, there's others, but that is known to leach, and it is characteristic to go down into the ground. Therefore, there's restrictions on how close you can be to wells and water sheds and bodies of water. I know Creighton and Jim and even Gavin would understand that part of it, because it's restricted. You don't want that around. So how much is in this? I'd be more just that it showed up. That I would be more concerned to do more of a frequent monitoring of that, and and to see if it was just a fluke one-time thing, or if it's a persistent deal. And if it is persistent, then you talked about opening up Pandora's box, or box of water.
Can of worms.
If that happens. If you get out to the state or something like that, then that gets very costly.
Yeah.
Years ago, that's what Airway Heights back in the 60s poured on and got in their wells. And that was a result of Fairchild dumping out, using it. But that was a different concentration. That's a different matter I can discuss later. But it does go seep down. And that's like on the radar of EPA and everything. So I would be more inclined to, I think it would behoove us, our responsibility to, for a short time here, do a more frequent monitoring of our quality of water.
And along with David's extra information around that other compound, similarly, I thought it was interesting. You can see in the attachment I sent that the PCE, with a different compound, but the PCE is known to come from dry cleaning businesses, which I don't think is a thing, but solvents used for engine degreasing or parts, which we know is geographically in that area. Brake cleaner, carburetor cleaner, other solvents, farm maintenance area, mechanic shop, solvents soaked into the ground and migrated into the aquifer. It's also known to potentially come from aqueous film-forming foam from firefighter training. So there's just a whole bunch of reasons to watch that well very closely. And again, I know that we have the paper in attendance, and I would appreciate just making sure that we're noting that we have not seen anything that is inherently concerning. We're not over any levels. Even the things that we've seen transiently have not shown up in multiple tests. We are out of overabundance of caution, wanting to make sure to catch anything before it could become a consistent, proven issue. There is no issue that we see right now with it, but we're trying to make sure that we're ahead of everything on public safety on this.
I just want to know who's still got Tord on and how I can get it.
Thank you for the indulgence of your time, gentlemen.
Yes. Okay. Kelsey, do you have information?
She sent.
I did email it over to
Oh.
Stephen, but I can read them out loud if you want.
Well,
Yeah, I think that'd be good.
do we want to reopen that?
Yeah, I move to pick the budget adoption off the table.
Second.
Okay, discussion.
Go ahead, Cassie.
Okay, so the 2024 ending balance was $116,281.03. Current balance today is $121,144.58, plus an additional $184,327 in TIB funds for the ADA ramp replacement, which is on the claim sheet. So, just want to let you know, that money is in there, so it looks like we have a lot, but some of it was sent to us from TIB.
Could somebody repeat that, but much slower?
Yeah,
I'm actually deaf in my left ear,
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm only getting part of it and
All
trying
right,
to
the
type.
2025 current balance is $121,144.58.
Thank you. And then you said that was the 2025 balance?
Yep, that's a balance today, yep,
Okay.
and at the end of 2024, we were at.
at $116,281.03.
Okay, and that's with the capital improvements of the well, the excavator.
Yeah, that was just the ending balance 2024 and
Okay.
current balance right now.
So in other words, we did what, $110,000 of capital investment this year, and we're still $5,000 up, right?
Yeah, because the capital investment was $107,604.
And that is without the pulling of LGIP available balance, yes?
We didn't touch that. We pulled it and put it in the money market, but it's still there.
And so that is, LGIP money is reflected in that balance?
No, that's just our checking.
Right, but I'm saying that reflects, we did a pull of interest from LGIP, put it in our, and that's not in that amount?
Correct.
Okay, so we're $5,000 to the good after everything this year, right? Or is anyone, because you thought we were going to be way, I'm not trying to pick on anybody, but you thought we were going to be way under. Are we missing something in that?
Is this our money market and,
No, this is just checking.
okay,
Would money market have drawn down this year?
It did, yeah. We did draw down our money market here and there for claims, but trending in the past, that's,
But not significantly?
yeah, let me, if I can pull that, let me log back in here.
Sorry.
so we, to pay for the stuff that we did hit our reserve accounts, just on paper.
Which would be the money market?
Which is between the money, yeah, primarily
Okay.
the money market. No, we have money in the LGIP, but I don't think we touched. A portion of that LGIP money is not endowment. It's city reserves.
Okay.
Which, going back to the investor again, would be nice to not have those funds associated with each other.
Yeah.
And that would be a discussion if we wanted to put our reserves in something that he would
I
recommend
wouldn't
also.
mind thinking about it.
I,
Yeah, but the nice thing is, in that case, you can literally have them be two separate funds. I mean, they can be
Yeah.
invested exactly the same.
yeah,
They could
no,
be-
that's what I'm saying, but we haven't really given our opinion on doing that at this point.
Right.
It was just the endowment funds.
Yeah.
Correct?
I believe so.
No, there's a strong argument that says to do exactly that. And the only reason it's not like that in the LGIP right now is because the state doesn't allow that. They only allow one account per municipality.
Okay, so do you want money market figures from last year and today?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so last year, our ending balance was $303,378.33. Today, it is $391,063.11.
Say those numbers one more time.
Okay, last year,
Yeah.
our ending balance was $303,378.33.
Yeah. Yeah.
Today, it's $391,063.
So we went up 88 grand.
Yes, but I did pull from our LGIP and put it in there.
Okay, and that's why I asked about the LGIP, because I knew that was going to be a significant amount of change, because that was what, 3-4 years
was
of
like, yeah.
decent interest that.
Of interest of the initial investment plus all the interest for that.
So we took this, because we were trying to keep the endowment funds separate from the city funds.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Knowing that this change was happening or coming on board, we had the city reserves removed from the LGIP. So both the reserves, so right now, whatever's in the LGIP should be, correct me if I'm wrong, but whatever's in the LGIP really should be just endowment.
Right now, it's just the endowment and the
And-
investment interest,
Yeah.
plus the initial investment plus the interest, so. It's all just
So-
cemetery stuff there.
So right now, the funds are separate,
Right,
but our reserve is reflected in that 391.
right. Well, I think I'm satisfied.
Okay. David, have you got any questions?
No, it sounds good. Sounds good what I hear so far.
Okay. Creighton, anything further?
I don't think so. Just let me look at it again.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Cassie. You
Yeah.
are.
Sorry that took me so long.
No. You are not only a treasurer, you are a treasure, so thank you for what you do.
You're nice.
Nice. Wow.
You get all the chocolate.
I'm taking this.
You like coconut.
Yeah, all right.
I'm ready to vote.
Yeah, okay.
All in favor of passing the 2026 budget ordinance number 518, signify by saying aye.
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 And no and negative. Thank you. Okay. Consent agenda.
I move we pass it.
Second.
Any further discussion on the consent agenda?
Negative.
Okay. All in favor of passing the consent agenda, signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you. 4-0. Okay, my comments. Got a plenty, but we've kind of touched on some of them already. For those of you who didn't know, and I'm sure most of you do, we had a little bit of an issue with our water today, where our water pressure dropped significantly. Turned out to be the relay for the system where the communication relay. So where the water tank pressure says, hey, turn on your pump, that relay failed. So the pump wasn't kicking on.
So my wife wasn't dreaming when she said the shower was.
So,
Those of us up on the hill can't tell the difference.
so it was an education because we had not dealt with that before. That relay was probably not very young. And we actually had a brand new one sitting right there, ready to go. So once they sorted, an electrician came screaming in because we thought somehow between the electronics for the new pump going in and that, something had really gone haywire and it turned out to be simple, so
This was just today?
just
or-
today.
Oh, okay.
Who was the electrician?
Around, it's,
Company.
it was whoever the irrigators sent over because we called them first because the obvious idea was that it was related. So
Mm.
their electrician is the one that put all the
Mhm.
wiring together. for
I
that.
met him. Yeah.
So, okay. We've talked about MKB.
Mhm.
Wastewater treatment plant update. All I'm really gonna say on that is that we are actively in the middle of contract negotiations right now. So if you guys want more about that, feel free to check in with me. Well, number one, status. Like I said, the pump's in. They've poured a bunch of water through it. Works great. So the one area that we're getting used to and we're trying to sort out is that with the new pump, the water level, when they turn it on, drops significantly down the shaft. So the water level is dropping down to about 20 or so feet above the pump head. But it's staying there. And then when they turn it off, within 2 or 3 minutes, it's filled 100 feet full of water. So it's just a matter of getting used to it. Talking to the operator, he says, yes, it's something to watch, but it's not unheard of. And for all we know, we've been dealing with that forever because with well one, we could only look 10 feet down. So we don't know how fast that thing was dropping.
Well,
I also
didn't Dean
suspect-
White say that Reardon has a well that drops over 100 feet when it's on? Someone in the area has a well. that
Odessa
drops.
has one that their well is very deep, and when they turn it on, it drops hundreds of feet because their pump is that far down. So I have a suspicion too that this pump is probably pulling a lot more water than we're used to ever seeing come out of that hole.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, so we're just getting used to it. You know, it's all new. We don't have the same gauges. We're just trying to sort out what it is. Our plan is, after the testing comes back and it's all positive and all the rest of it, we want to bring it on board, introduce it into the system sometime, quite honestly, towards, if all goes right, towards the end of next week. So the idea is to bring it on board, watch it closely. In other words, we won't leave it on, we won't be relying on that overnight when we're all trying to sleep. Just so during the daylight, we can work out any kinks that may come up. And then quite honestly, we probably will take it offline and not use it during the holiday, just so we have tried and true, so we don't have any surprises when all the help is out of town or potentially out of town. So we'll just wait until January and then move it into a regular rotation.
Which is intended to be what? Because we're not going
We're
to switch it back and
we're
forth
gonna
every
have to
day,
work.
right?
No, well,
Because that's what the state said they wanted.
we will get there, but right now, we have none of the hardware down there that's automated, that we need to just, we have all the systems so the two pumps can talk to each other, so we can program the pumps when one's on, the other one's off, or what have you. But the check valves and right now, when well number 3 is running, there's a gate valve that manually has to be closed to prevent water from just back flushing. So hopefully we will be able to in the future get that, but I'm predicting that we probably go at the most a month here and a month there, preferably a week, but I'm gonna leave that up to our water operator and his best practices on what he thinks we should do, and then we'll start working on a project to get them automated to the degree that we don't have to even think about it anymore. So the goal is to, just
how much water is it really putting out? I mean, is it gonna put out the water that we need to keep the reservoir filled and we don't have any issues? And so it's a trial and error, but it's positive. I mean, there's some new things that it does. We're getting more data now than we had before, so it kind of raises your eyebrows, but that may just be the way it was. So, I think I sent this information to you, but just for the record, well number 1 appears to be about 260 feet deep when it was dug 100 years ago. And our new wellhead is hanging at about 160 feet, whereas the old one was at 60, 65. So we've got 100 more feet of water over the top of that pump than we had in the past. So I'm feeling optimistic. So that's the story on that.
Wait, three
Yeah.
hopefully quick questions. One, they had quite a bit of delays or unexpected items. Those don't come back at us, and like we gave them an amount, right? And
The contract was for a flat amount.
okay,
Yes.
good.
Yeah.
Second of all, were Creighton and I crazy and not paying attention? We thought it was going to be a submersible pump. And I guess it doesn't really matter one way or another.
Doesn't matter, but both of us
No,
thought
we're
it was
just
going to be a
curious.
submersible pump.
It was never supposed to be.
I thought it was supposed to be.
No, it's well. I mean the
It's-
motor's on top.
There's a motor on top.
The motor's
There's
on
a
top,
shaft.
and there's shafts going down.
Okay. We had started the conversation that it was going to be a submersible, and maybe that was one of the issues with trying to get the volume out of it, that we weren't getting there.
Cassie's,
Turbine pump.
So we got a turbine in there again?
He had to switch gears because we needed a bigger output.
Okay.
Yeah, your turbine's gonna be a better pump, high
Okay.
output.
I mean that's
it wasn't a big deal, but
It's
it
not-
just
I don't
he had all these
care, but-
shafts laying in the back of his
right.
pickup, and I'm going,
what are those for?
Again, I have been so busy, I haven't even been over there to see any of this project happening, so.
Well, and I'm guessing it also like because it was smaller. I mean, it was a smaller hole. You wouldn't have been able to fit nearly as much down the hole as you could have before.
I think what it is we had to go to a smaller pipe so that we
Mhm.
could navigate through that bend
Oh,
to get deeper,
yeah.
so.
Okay, and then my third item, I want to let everyone know that, so when we were doing this one of the things that we got was an electrical sensor to be able to know how much power is being used. But by the time it arrived, the electricians had gone, and I'm not brave enough to open up a three-phase power panel and put the clamps on myself. So it's been sitting unused, and I was like, well, I guess at some point I'm going to push the council to get an electrician here to do it. But then I had the brilliant idea, wait a minute, the electrician's down there and doing that panel, so I talked him into putting the clamps on that one, and they're in, and I put the sensor online, and so even right now, it won't show you anything because it's not running, but we have a live real-time feed of the electrical usage, and this will do two things for us. One, we'll be able to track exactly, we'll have a rating of how many gallons it's pumped. We'll have a rating of exactly how many kilowatt hours were used on that pump. For the first time, we will have a precise reading of how much electricity did it take to pump the gallons of water, which will better influence when we do water rates in the future. Two, I will be able to make a detection that if it does not show, when we get another one on this one, if neither pump has ran and drawn its normal electrical usage, we can send notifications to say, hey, someone's left the pump off, which has happened 5 times since I've moved back to town, and it should stop. So, and I did the research back when the automated solutions for this are made for cities that are not Harrington size, so I didn't really want to make something myself, but apparently there's really nothing on the market for some people like us. So this should help us with a lot better competency of making sure the water always runs.
Very cool.
just personal experience, our solar panels have the same thing. And we were in Colorado, and it was fall in my wife's greenhouse. You could tell how much energy it was using. Well, there was one night it didn't use any. So we knew that the heater went out, called friends, and they got it so that her plants didn't freeze.
Nice, okay.
And like, I have a thing at my house, and the year that my AC went bad, the first thing I was noticing was, because I wasn't attentive enough to know exactly how long it was running, but I noticed it was using a third to half more power. So with motors, it's not uncommon that maybe the first thing that we'll get, instead of waiting till the motor blows up, we can say, hey, this thing is using third more power. Maybe we're going to have to find a replacement here before we're left in the middle of summer without water again.
Okay, very good.
That was it, thanks.
Okay. So, this last comment that I have, well, I've got two more things. So, this is just planting a seed, so this can't do anything. We currently have and I've not brought this to you, it came in during the summer. We have a $500,000 loan available to us. We've already been approved for it. The purpose of the $500,000 loan, just hear me out, is to do all the engineering for our water main replacements throughout the city. So it's not to replace them, but it's to do all the engineering to get it done, and it's the water mains, which is relocating them correctly, the service lines to the water meters and hydrants are the big things. So it would involve engineering to get the city's fresh water where it belongs with brand new lines. So it's a $500,000 loan. It's currently at 0 interest. The goal would be to get the plan developed, because the Water World grant money that's out there has to be applied for next fall in 2026. Most of these programs, when it happens, they will roll this loan into the grant to do the actual construction. And we'd be looking to get an $8 million grant to do all the water work, is roughly the estimate. The reason this is significant is because on a number of different projects, the money that is being used and allocated at the state level right now for these different projects like ours is basically the last administration's funds that are still being distributed. They've already been allocated. Those, the people that you talk to in the state basically are announcing that in 2027 they are approaching a fiscal cliff. So in 2027, there's no expectation of any significant federal money to do projects like this. So just planting the seed, we can talk about it a lot more, I'm sure we will. But if we're going to move, in order to get the water mains replaced with grant money, we have to have a water system plan. We should have that approved easily within the first quarter, if not by the end of January. We just have 2 more things to check boxes off of, and that's done. And then getting it approved. You have to have this, an engineer's basically plan on what the project is going to look like and what needs to be done and where and how. So it's like 6-inch lines become 10-inch lines or 12-inch lines, and 12-inch lines become 24-inch lines. And so just saying that's on the table, that's going to be January, that we're going to dive into that, and I will try to get as much information out to you guys so you can make an educated decision.
I think Steve should have given us a bigger basket.
So it's pretty big. Going through what we're going through with our wastewater treatment plant, that will be watched like a hawk. So assuming something was to go forward with that. So I'll just leave that hanging there. Lastly, yes, we do need to advertise for an open council position in January. We can go ahead and advertise for that now. What I would like from you is kind of an idea. I've got it in my head, but when we want to close that, so our first council meeting in January will be the 14th. I would like to see if we can have candidates available with letters of
Can we
intent.
advertise it before the candidate that won doesn't
Yes.
take office?
I've got a letter basically saying he's not going to, so, yes.
Yeah, but,
I talked to the auditor's
Okay.
office, yes, we can,
okay.
so.
Well, yeah, I'd say as soon as possible.
So we'll advertise for it like we've done, same thing. The big thing is when do we want to close? And I had suggested January 7th to give us a week before the council meeting.
That sounds good.
I'm good.
Okay. Okay. So hopefully we will have some interest and we will have a couple of people to interview and go through the selection process for an appointment. That's all I have.
Are we gonna ever need to vote on revoking that $1 million loan?
Yes, we will need to, but for obvious reasons,
Well, sure.
yeah,
And we still need to vote on revoking the RICO contract.
yes. But like you described last time, we want to run that through a
Yeah,
couple more places.
That's fine, but, I mean, we can give you the authorization to break it, and then you can choose when to execute it.
Okay. Yeah, so far it's working famously. The only challenge is sometimes it wants, and it was doing this in its past life, but it's like it's run home to default paper option is the fold out on the side that you put in
Okay.
one at a time.
Okay.
It wants to run back to that one at times, so it's a matter of just programming and getting the default. I personally think it's the computer that's telling it what to do needs to be tweaked, but I don't know. I don't seem to have a problem, but some of the other computers here do, so.
Okay. By the
Okay.
way, the TAP score wants 3 months. They want the returns 3 months after purchase.
Oh, the
The water test.
water, so used within 3 months? Okay. Yeah, again,
I can talk to Devin, but it sounds like if Devin's open to it, the council's positive on it, is what I'm hearing, unless there are any objections.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Any other comments from our publics? Any questions, Olivia?
Not at this moment.
Okay. Okay, I will entertain anything else.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
First and the second to adjourn. David, you still with us?
I sure am.
Okay. All in favor to adjourn at 8:25, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you, David. I hope you feel